Hi guys, it's Touchline podcast here. We're back with another little episode, a bit something different. We're doing the all-time Super League side. Here with Callum again.
Hi guys, hope you're all well.
So, what we're going to be doing today, Callum, is going to go from each position, 1 through 13, and we can have a few honourable mentions, but we're going to go through our best players who we think deserve to be in the all-time team.
Yep, get that.
Does that sound good?
Yep, sounds perfectly fine. That I will say there is going to be. What did we say we're going to do? We're going to do an NRL one, didn't we?
Yeah, an NRL
New
one.
South Wales.
Yeah, our origin.
Cleveland.
Yep.
And then we're going to do an all-time overall origin team, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think we said. Yeah.
So
keep an eye out for them guys. But yeah, let's get into it.
All right,
On,
let's
Cam,
start with our fullback position. I've gone with Chris Radlinski. Now, let me explain. You got to look at the impact and commitment he had for Wigan, and he's played international as well. But throughout the time of his career, he was so consistent and such a good fullback for the team. And even through the end of his career, when he retired, and Wigan was going through that patchy stage where they was facing relegation and stuff like that, he came out of retirement to help where he wasn't getting paid as well, and he helped him through that stage in the career.
Well,
who have you gone for?
I've gone for some of the same reasons that you've gone there. Really, I've gone with the old faithful Paul Wellens. I mean,
Good
Man of Steel winner in 2006, Lance Todd winner 2006, 2007, one club man. Players very rarely got past him. He'd always beat the first man on kick returns. He'd very rarely drop a ball.
Yeah.
He was just a solid player for Saints, and he was just a true leader. You know, you could tell that sort of the kids coming through would look up to him. He had 31 international tests appearances. Now, he had 22 seasons at Saints, and don't get me wrong, he had a lot of highs during that time.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of lows, and I think especially because it was towards the back end of his career, 5-6 years where he got to grand finals and lost, or he didn't quite make it to there.
Yeah.
He still stuck with it, and then in 2014 it paid off.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it had to be against the Wigan team, but
it did. But I think it was just fitting for him, really.
Yeah.
To sort of stick through it and sort of showed what he was made of, really. But yeah that's where I've gone with Paul Wellens.
Right. So let's move on to our number 2, our winger. I think we should have gone with similar ones here. I'll just say Billy Wiz.
Yeah, had to be.
Jason
I'll let you do the talking for this one, really.
Yeah, well, when you look back at his history in the Super League era, especially when Wigan first got there in the first final, he was the first Wigan player to score in the first ever grand final. It's crazy. And in the Super League era, he managed to win 2 grand finals. But he's just one of them players, like, he stands out. If you're a first person watching it for the first time and he's playing, he stands out.
We said it about Ponga, didn't we? He was just electric. Just big tries in big moments. He was a big game player, really.
100%.
So I couldn't leave him out. I really couldn't leave him out there at all.
So let's move on to a centre. I've gone with Jamie Lyon. Have you gone the same?
Same here. Yeah.
Well, where do we begin with Jamie Lyon?
Good question.
Well, you look at the time he had with St.Helens. He played 63 games, scoring 46 tries, and kicking 206 goals. I mean, and them stats, they're crazy.
When he first turned up, Wello and Scully both said that when they picked him up from the airport that he was overweight, and they thought, why have we signed him? This can't be it. And then, as they say, rest was history, really. Man of Steel winner.
Yeah, won the treble with Saints as well, didn't he, in 2006?
He did, yeah. He won the Challenge Cup in the grand final.
But he's one of them players as well that proved it in Australia. He's been picked for New South Wales. And he's been,
New South Wales, Aussie Tests.
Yeah.
So, but as you said then, he was part of the treble winning side. He unfortunately won the Challenge Cup with us. He won the grand final. The year after, he wasn't there. And that leads into my next centre, Cam.
Yeah,
which is Matt Gidley, because Matt Gidley came in after Lyon. Now, he probably didn't have the same impact, but then again, I think it was a slightly different Saints team when Gidley came in.
Yeah,
Big shoes to fill, but for me, he was just his handling
yeah,
of the pressure, and he could get the pass away. Ada Gardner benefited from it so well. That the years that he was at Saints, the Gidley flick, it was named after him. I just think that a lot of defenders couldn't deal with him just because they didn't know what he could do. They
yeah,
didn't know whether he was going to pass it, whether he was going to run it, because the ball was in one hand most of the time as well.
yeah,
The defenders had to kind of stand back and think, well, what's he going to do? And that's why I've had to put Matt Gidley in there. I thought he was world class, especially coming from Newcastle.
yeah. Well,
But
personally,
yeah, go on.
I've gone with an English lad. I've gone with Keith Senior.
Good shout. Solid shout,
You
that.
know, after his time at Sheffield, he came to Leeds. You've got to look at his first season at Leeds. He was joint top try scorer with 18 tries. He played 365 games with Leeds and managed to score 171. He's a 5-time grand final winner and been selected for the Dream Team 5 times. I mean,
Can't argue with that at
no,
all.
you can't. He was one of them
Stats
players,
don't lie.
he was big for the position. And at the time,
He was a unit.
yeah, with them kind of stats for tries and stuff like that, it's crazy to think, especially in that era of Super League, where mainly most players were built like the saying again.
Yeah.
So it's
I think we
kind
just
of
got to
mad.
come out and say it soon, can't
Yeah, we have. So that's who I've picked for the centre.
Don't blame you with that one, mate. Don't blame you at all. Who've you gone for wing?
For the second wing, I've gone with the good old Mr. Pat Richards.
Solid shout. Solid shout. Along the same lines of what I've gone for. But go on,
You
explain.
know, I'll just read some of his stats out again. 244 games, 167 tries, and 898, goals kicked. It's crazy that. He was also the first Aussie player for Wigan to score over 1,000 points. He also Man of Steel, 2 grand finals, 2 Challenge Cups, and it
Thing
just
is, with
shows.
Pat Richards, he was just a solid player, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He was just he
and
could do a bit of everything.
yeah, and he also at his time away from Wigan in the NRL, he managed to prove it then as well. So it just shows what kind of player he was. Like he was influential, but hardly, which can be said about the NRL and Super League.
He did. I have to agree. Now, like I said, I've gone along the same lines as you here, but I've just gone a bit further back. I've had to go for Brian Carney, just because I think for Wigan he scored some massive tries, and like we said, there's not much you can say about Brian Carney because
No.
it speaks for him. He does speak for himself, really. He's like Jason Robinson, big time player, knew where the try line was. He
Yeah.
was quick. He was, he did it over in Australia, winning the Dally M Winger of the Year with Matt Gidley as his centre. Just going to throw that in there. But yeah, you don't really have to say much about Brian Carney. I think every true rugby league fan know that
He's one
there's,
of them players, isn't he, that you just have to love watching as well.
yeah, I think, but yeah, for me, I think Brian Carney was my other winger, which pains me that 2 of my wingers are from Wigan, but we move on. We move on.
So, for my standoff, I've gone with, I think you might know, Danny Maguire. Is
Yeah,
that something you've gone a long way with?
I've gone with the same. I just want to say, like we said at the beginning, there is going to be honourable mentions. I just want to throw Leon Price in there as an honourable mention.
Not a
He was
bad
part
shout.
of the treble winning side for Saints, and I think that 2006 side for Saints were Long and Price were sort of in the halves.
Yeah.
There was no better in the league at that time. I think them two, they just clicked well, and Price just could turn it on. But for me, Danny
Well,
Maguire was just
let me
unbelievable.
just, for people who know who Danny Maguire is, let me just read some of the accomplishments he's got. 8 Super League Grand Final trophies, 2 Challenge Cups, 3 Challenge, 3 League Leader Shields, 2 Harry Sunderland medals. I mean, if that doesn't speak for itself.
And he scored the most tries in Super League history, beating Paul Newlove.
Yeah.
For me, he was just a busy player. Your busy players are always your best players, and that's why he got most of his tries. Supporting, pushing through the middle with the forwards. He was just phenomenal, Danny Maguire.
Well, if
Absolutely
you're wondering
phenomenal.
how many tries he did score, he played 116 games for Leeds, and he scored 267 tries for Leeds.
That's unbelievable. That's ridiculous.
You know,
For an half, that's...
He's one of them players. He's just influential, especially in that Leeds side, which had like Kevin, Jamie Peacock and all that. Stand up and be a leader in that pack as well.
Unbelievable. Going on to number 7.
Number 7, I think we might both have the same idea. There's only one option.
I think in my head there can only be one, and it has to be Sean Long. I know some people will pick different.
Yeah.
But you have to remember we're going off what we've watched, and I've not seen a better half in the Super League than Sean Long.
No. Not that has the impact that he has. Like in that Saints team, look at it and you picture Kieran Cunningham, Sean Long. That's who I see when I picture that team.
And he won big games for Saints as well.
Yeah. Well, it shows in the trophies. He won 4 Super League finals, 5 Challenge Cups, and he won a Man of Steel as well in that.
Yeah, he was just one of them players that could turn it on its head. He knew what he wanted. Players around him knew what he wanted, and they knew that if they did their job right, Sean Long would lead them around the park. He'd take them from
100%.
A to B.
Like, he might not have the tries to show for it, but if you look back and watch some of the games, he's involved in every single player.
Yeah.
He's always there.
One of the best memories of Sean Long for me was Warrington at Knowsley Road, and it was a draw. We were drawing, and he pinged the drop goal from 30, 40 metres out. And the thing is, it wasn't just that game. He broke many a club's hearts, mainly Warrington and Wigan, because he was the type of player that would take his game to a whole nother level in them big sort of games.
Yeah, and it's a shame really because when he was at Wigan and Widnes, he wasn't given the time.
No,
he wasn't shown the respect that he deserved.
Like they say, rest is history, mate. And
he came back to bite him on the arse, really.
I think out of all the positions that we've had to pick, I think there was a few for each position, but I think 7 was a safe bet.
Yeah, 100%.
I think there was only one. There was a safe bet for 7.
Let's move on to the first prop. Personally, I've gone for James Graham. I don't know whether you have as well.
Yeah, I've got James Graham in there.
Yeah, well,
I had to.
When we're talking about influential players, as he did as a young player, he was consistently good from his time at St.Helens all the way through. You look at his, he played 224 games, scoring 53 tries. It's not all the tries. Meters he made as well. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think James Graham, it was the little things he did right at such a young age.
Yeah.
It does sound, like I said, it's just them little 1% things. He'd always find his front. He'd very rarely get put on his back. And when a forward can do it so consistent, it does help the team out massively.
Yeah.
Because you get them quick play the balls. And like you said, he's won a grand final and over here. And I think he was in my team without a shadow of a doubt. And I think I had to slightly adjust the pack a bit to fit him and my next prop in. But yeah, James Graham for me is one of my props. He has to be.
Right, let's move on to the hooker role. Right, before we say who it is, like, I'm assuming the same as me, the player I've chose, but honourable mention to Kieran Cunningham.
Yeah. I think if we were a bit older, I think Cunningham may have just nipped it. Because when you look at what he's won and things, I think you would have put him in there. But me and you, we've seen more of James Roby than we have of Cunningham.
Yeah, and I think you've got to look at it like the Saints teams now to then. Like the Saints teams then, they had like Sean Long, like we said. They had different players that out and perform consistently. Whereas Saints sides over the years, no more consistent player than James Rowe.
No, year in, year out. And I think that's one of the reasons why he doesn't get as many awards as, what he should get.
No, 100%.
Because he does it, that, like you said, he's that consistent with it. People just expect him to be that good now.
Well, if you look at the trophies that he's won with Saints and like the individuals, he's super under his belt. He challenged cups, a Harry Sunderland medal, and a Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, yeah. See, he's the one player in this list where I think he probably deserved more Man of Steel awards.
Yeah, and he deserves more credit than he's actually got.
Yeah, definitely.
He's one of them players that I would like to see go to the NRL. It's a shame that he hasn't. But
thing is, I think he was one of them where he was kind of like, I think he felt like he owed something to Saints.
Yeah.
Because the good thing with him is when you hear him talk about it, he's quite passionate about it, and you know that when he goes out there to play, he puts everything and leaves it on the pitch.
And it's quite lucky for Saints to have back-to-back all-time great hookers.
Well, if you listen to our podcast, you'll hear what I say about player to watch.
So,
right,
moving on to the next prop, I've gone Jamie Peacock.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Right. Here's what I'll do. Same as Danny Maguire. Trophies first. 9-time Super League final winner. 4-time Challenge Cup. 11-time selection for the Dream Team. And 1 Man of Steel. I mean, if you're looking for a player to watch, a prop to watch, you want to watch Jamie Peacock highlight. This guy was incredible.
He was made of steel, him.
Yeah. And he was a leader through that lead side to stand up out of, the players they had, be the one to lead the team. There's no player you look too much, Jamie Peacock, and he's done it. But who have you chose for prop?
I will say, sorry, just going back to Jamie Peacock, I've not put him in the props. I've put Adrian Marley there, but I do want to say about Jamie Peacock that he was tougher than steel him. He was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I've gone with Adrian Marley as my second prop, just because I think what he did in the Super League in his prime and over at the Roosters, I think he was just quality. He was tough. Aussies probably didn't like him because of how tough he played the game. He'd always put his body on the line. He'd all like we said about Robbie, he'd just leave it all out on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, I've chose Adrian Marley in the second row, and you look at him over the years. He's played over 3 decades. He's the first British player to have won an NRL and Super League final. You look back at the highlights, talk about in Australia, how tough, what a furious player he liked to get into the nitty-gritty type stuff. He wasn't one of them.
No, yeah, I fully get that. I mean, so with yourself, like how you've put Peacock in at prop and Molly in at second row. Well, I've put Peacock in as my second rower as one of them. Now, not going to go into him all. Like you don't really have to say much. You just have to watch his game, and that tells you everything you need to know. But 100%. My other second rower, I've had to go for Gaz Ellis, just because I think he was a complete second rower. He was quick, he was big, good with his hands, quick on his feet. I think he went over to Tigers, won player of the year over there, player of the year for the Tigers over there twice on the bounce. And he was not flashy. He just made sure that he did his job. He did every little thing right. And yeah, I had to put him in just because I do like to watch Gaz Ellis play. I really do.
Well, with Gaz Ellis, he would have been an honourable mention. You look at him, towards the end of his career, he was still performing.
Yeah,
he
still
to get
plays some games, doesn't he now? I think for Hull, he's still going at 40 yards.
Yeah, but with my second, Chris Joynt,
Chris Joynt, he was my honourable mention.
Like Harry, 2-time Super League champion, Harry Sunderland winner, 383 games for Saints, 121 tries. But we talk about him plenty of times. Like you said, you look at his pictures when he was playing. He's just one of them. can tell by this.
He was just an unbelievable leader. One of the most successful captains in the Super League era. I think he was just he was just a leader on and off the pitch. He was what Saints was about at the time when he was there, I think, as well.
Yeah. So,
Definitely.
as we're talking about over second, ready, move on to the loose forward position. Who have you gone with?
So, before I say it, I just want to say one of my honourable mention. Now, I know when he was in the Super League, he probably didn't play loose forward, but I've put Sam Burgess as an honourable mention. Now, if he'd have played a bit longer in the Super League at Bradford, I think he would definitely be in this squad. I just don't. I'd like. I think to be in a Super League All-Star team, you have to. I think you have to play at least a number of years. You know.
Yeah, with him leaving so young as well. So Sydney, obviously, you know, he's got a case for the NRL team, like current NRL. But as of this one, like you said, you know, a few more years under your belt, a few more, you know, games.
Yeah.
But who do you say?
I've had to go with Paul Sculthorpe. Now, I think I know who you're going for, because I think this position Wigan and Saints have been blessed with.
Yeah, 100%.
Over Super League. And I've had to stick with Paul Sculthorpe. He never took a back step from anyone. You watched him and you thought, how can you do that? How can you do what you do? You know, he won Man of Steel 2 years on bounce, only player to do that. And he did that playing like in the halves, which it wasn't his normal position, but he was quick with his hands. You know, he was a good ball player. It was as if the game moved in slow motion, tough in defence, even better going forward. And like I said, he never took a back step from anyone. He'd take anyone on. He took Fitzgibbon on, O'Meara, you know, Andy Farrell he took on.
Yeah.
He don't take a back step from anyone. And I think that's one of the best things about him. And I think that's why I had to put him in, just because he was world class and he will go down in history with the Super League.
I think one thing to point out is if people haven't watched it, the scrap between Wigan and Saints, I think
2000
it was, if there's a fight to watch,
that's one to watch.
Yeah,
definitely.
It explains Wigan and Saint Derby at all. But
so, can I have a guess, Cam?
Yeah, you can have a guess. Go on.
Now, I think your honourable mention is going to be Andy Farrell, because I think your loose forward is going to be a Lockland, because he's basically been the captain of Wigan since you watched Wigan Warriors.
Yeah, and to go back on Andy Farrell and be mentioned, you know, at the time Super League started, you know, he was good, but he wasn't, you know,
and he was the only prop to win Man of Steel.
Yeah, but Sean O'Loughlin, right, in 2006 when we was going through, you know, the rough patch, and like I said before, Blinscat was facing relegation. That's when Sean O'Loughlin took over as captain. And you look at where he was then to where he is now, how he's evolved, and you know what type of player he is. Like, if you look at Wigan now, when he's not in, you can tell he's missed.
You do miss him in the middle of the pitch, yeah.
It's worrying to see what Wigan's going to be next year when he's not. You know, who's going to be the captain, because he knows the team is, and I hope he stays. You know, to coach there, but you look at what he's won with Wigan: 4 Super Challenge Cups, 1 World Cup Challenge, and you know, he might not have all the stats to try. He's one of them players, like, he's consistent. At his age, he can still put in the big shots. You know, he can read the game second to none, and he's also managed to be captain of it.
No, and I will say, Cam, with Sean O'Loughlin, I think that the tough thing for him was when he came through, there was the likes of Andy Farrell and Scully, Paul Sculthorpe.
And he wasn't fully built into his body at that point as well.
I think he's one of them, though, that's definitely got better.
Yeah, 100%.
As he's got older.
Like, people might think it's a bit controversial, but, you know, you look at what he's done. You know, he's a massive influence, especially on kids that up together.
No, yeah, I fully get that. I fully get that. I think you would have to pick him. I think it'd be more controversial for you not to.
Yeah. So
pick him,
let's move into
really.
some mentions, because we said obviously the 7 position. It was one person, but I think you look at guys like Thomas Leatherwhite as well.
Yeah,
Back in his heyday,
agree
he
with that.
was class, and especially
Um,
coming over from Australia, from New Zealand. You know,
I think another one as well has to be the likes of Kev Sinfield,
yeah.
Leatherwhite, the forward from Leeds.
Let's not forget about Rob Burrow.
Yeah, Rob Burrow. You've got quite a lot of them. Lee Breers.
Yeah.
You've got. This is why we said at the beginning. There's numerous players we could have put
It's
in.
hard to pick.
Yeah, like your wingers, your centres. There's been some unbelievable wingers
Also,
and
like
centres.
Liam Farrell as well.
Yeah,
Been incredible since.
Vinocola. I mean, for me, Matt, 6 and 7. 6 was close between, like I said, Price, and Matty Johns was almost there, but Danny Maguire picked him. And then in the second row, Bryce Fletcher was up there. Herzed. Herzed was up there.
Telling Wilkin as well.
Wilkin.
Wilkin.
Lee Gilmore was unbelievable. He scored some big games. He scored in some big games against Wigan in the Challenge Cup final. He scored one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we said, this is all our opinion. You may have your own. You can comment down below who you think we should take out and who we should put into our teams,
100%.
or just voice your opinions, really. Let us
Yeah.
know your team. If you wanted to do that, put it in down below. We could always, see what happens with it. And we might do another one. We could do, couldn't we? A
Like we
bit
said,
further down the line.
we've got them and
yeah,
new podcasts coming.
yeah. We don't know when, do we yet, though? That's the thing, because we're going back.
Not yet.
Because we kind of find out now that we're going back to work and stuff. So,
But we're trying to still stay consistent.
Yeah.
That's the aim.
Yeah, we'll get them out before each round of the NRL.
Looking forward to this week.
Be a very good week.
Correct.
So, but yeah, guys, comment, like we said. Let us know of any video ideas you want us to do for you. Once you've subscribed, hit that notification bell. It would mean a lot to us. We really want to try and get this podcast and just this mini channel, just give you bits of little content alongside the podcast, just so you have something else to watch. But yeah, anything you've got to add, Cam?
No, that's